Press Start Podcast.
And welcome back to the Press Start Podcast. This is episode number 153. This week, I'm joined by my co-host, Roger, aka Lunatic Oblivion.
Hey guys, how are you?
What's going on, man? And this week, we do welcome back a familiar face on our special guest, Paul, aka Inhuman. What's going on, bro?
Yes, it
Welcome
is
back.
Obi. I am here. I got a little bit of a tan, a little darker now, but I am here.
Yeah, it's the new Scott. No, I'm just playing. Nah, but welcome back, man. It's been a while since you've been on the show, but it's good to have you back here.
Yeah, it's good to be
But
back. Thank you.
hell yeah, man. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and dive into what we've been playing. Going to be a little bit of a shorter and quicker episode than normal. Gotta watch the Commanders, baby, at 8 o'clock. But
Let's
nonetheless,
get it.
let's dive in. We all been playing some actually pretty good and pretty big games, honestly. And let's just talk about the big games off rip. Roger, you've been playing a lot of Path of Exile too. I know a lot of people that have been playing this game, and it's been a really good game. It seems like. But what's your experience been like?
Honestly, it feels there's a lot of issues that with the game because it kind of is a forked code of Path of Exile 1. So they took a lot of Path of Exile 1 and just
Copy and
they
paste.
took the code, forked it, and made a new game. And they were like, okay, well, there's a lot of shit from Path of Exile 1 people are finding. They're like, oh, hit some commands real quick. And all of a sudden they use the ini files and they're setting key bindings to open up things that aren't to be used in PO 2. And people are like, oh, here, look, you can get to this screen, see this here, and you're like, the fuck are you doing? Like,
That sounds like a
people are
very lazy
completely
way of
doing their
making
own
a
thing.
game.
Yeah, it honestly though it was always meant to be like the second iteration of the game to take what they were doing and kind of just like move forward with it. And honestly, it feels like a great game, just has its minor issues.
So in comparison, I know you played a lot of Diablo 4. Which one would you say is a better, more fleshed out game? Is it Diablo, or do you think Path of Exile is still pretty good?
Path of Exile 1 is better than Diablo. Diablo 4 is better than PO 2 at the moment, just because PO 2 is still a open beta, well, a closed beta, I guess. You have to buy in to play the beta.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But it's pretty good.
Yeah, I was thinking about playing Diablo 4 sometime this year, so hopefully I'm gonna get to that. Doubt I'm gonna play Path of Exile too, but definitely looking forward to checking out Diablo 4 nonetheless. But let's talk about a game I do want to check out. I've never played any of them before, but Inhuman, you've been playing a lot of Dragon Age recently. And if, from my understanding, this is your first Dragon Age game as well. Tell me about your experience with it, and do you recommend it to us that may have not played this one yet?
Yeah, so I just want put my mom into this. It's your fault, mom. You didn't let me play Dragon Age 1. It's all your fault. She wouldn't let me do it. She was like, nah, no dragons in this house. But, my first Dragon Age, this game is extremely fun. And I do kind of like that they did change the combat system. It's a little bit more open for people who are not kind of, how do you say, of they don't like the old fight system, which is okay. Whatever you want is one. I play multiple different types of games, different systems, but this does feel open. It does, for some reason, feel a lot more sluggish, and I don't know if maybe it's because this is team's first time working with this, but overall story. I'm only in the first arc, so don't kill me. It's good. I heard second arc kind of goes down, third arc goes back up.
Hmm.
We'll see. But overall, though, first arc so far is very decent, and game's gorgeous. They did
Mhm.
their thing. It's beautiful.
It's definitely a looker, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know one of our usually big supporters here, Bass, the Spooky Crew. He's played a ton of Dragon Age of Veilguard, and he's been loving it from at least what I heard. So hopefully it's a good game. I'll probably check it out later. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if I'll get to it this year because I've been busy playing a lot of these bigger games. Um,
Yeah.
because we're looking here, two of them here on my list. I just recently beat Ghost of Tsushima, and not only did I beat the game, I also platinumed the game as well.
That's beautiful.
It's my first platinum game ever on PlayStation, so that was really exciting. Um, it just everything just felt really great about the game. Like every little thing I was doing, from the shrines to the dens to the spas to the everything mattered, and
Yeah.
it just flowed really well. Like if I passed a den or whatever in the middle of a mission, I was like, cool, I can just fucking fast travel back to it. And like this fast travel in the game was like a blink. You literally click on something on the map and you're there. There was no load times at all. It was like pretty much instant. And that was really
Chef
great.
kiss.
love it. Don't know how it really would have worked on the PS4 or how it works on PC, but at least on my PS5, it it does what the PS5 is supposed to do.
I'm gonna
Um,
sit on the Steam sale. I should have picked it up. I bought Dragon Age instead.
absolutely beautiful game. Like I'm really mad that I missed out on this for the past 5 years because this came out in 2020. But to me, it was a perfect time to play it. Director's cut, PS5, Ghost of Yotai is coming out this year. Like why not? And like that story, man. Like I don't want to spoil the what has to happen at the end of the game, but Roger knows because he beat it, and I talked to him about it. But the game made me cry at the end of the game. Like I literally
What a little
I
bitch.
had to get to a choice, and I was like, I asked my wife, I was like, I don't know what to do in this situation, and like it
Yeah,
just by the choice that I ended up going with, like I was literally crying. I was like, I felt emotionally attached to the entire game and like what really happened and whatnot. I was just like, this was just a beautiful game. This is literally a 10 out of 10, a masterpiece. I could not tell you anything wrong about it. Not one thing. Not one thing at all. Like the game even knows, in like a lot of games, if you like jump off a rock, but you get into this like falling animation that you just can't get out of. The game like
yeah.
kind of realizes that you're stuck in that, and it'll just like automatically set you off to the side. It almost does like when you're playing like a racing game, like Forza or something like that, and your car ends up on the roof, and it knows that you can't drive anywhere now because you're stuck on the roof. It's gonna like reset you back. Like it basically does that in this game, and I was like, the fact that the game can just autocorrect and fix itself is
That it
insane
knows.
because there's a lot
Well,
of times where you just
think I
get caught in a glitch and you're just like, well, I gotta load
yeah.
from last checkpoint.
Thank you, Ubisoft. But no, like, thank God that they did fix that though, because I'm guessing that was a patch that they did that, because there's a famous clip that goes around of a guy that actually got caught in a falling animation, and he's just getting hit with arrow, 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 and then he's getting juggled in the air. Somebody's hitting
Oh
him.
no, yeah,
So,
that
uh,
must have been something that was added later.
yeah, but this is the beauty of having a back catalog and
Mm-hmm.
catching up, because one, you get to enjoy the game at its best,
Mm-hmm.
if the developers go as far as fixing things. But yeah, I'm happy you experienced that. I can't wait till I get to it as well.
Yeah. So let's talk about the other big game that I've been playing, and this is literally a game that's very, very different for me, and that is Metaphor Refantasio. Um, I've never played an Atlas game, so I've never played any of the Persona games, anything like that. So like, this is my first introduction to an Atlas game, and holy fuck, this is a game that I literally have to contain myself because I feel like I would just play it and just say fuck sleep because
Yeah,
it's that fucking good. Like when you get to the next area, you're like, all right, cool, what's about to happen? It's like it keeps layering on like one thing at a time, and it introduces a new mechanic one thing at a time, and you're like, oh, I like this, and it just like keeps you going, and
And
you're
then
just
you can't
fucking hooked.
forget the mechanics. That's the thing. You forget
Yeah.
them for 1 minute, and all of a sudden you're just like,
Oh
ah,
yeah.
shit.
I did that in
Guess
Ghost
I
of
didn't get the ending I wanted.
yeah,
Fuck this game.
I did that in Ghost of Tsushima. Like I forgot about like the daggers you can throw and the sticky bombs because like it's just like
yeah,
an afterthought. But yeah, I could definitely see that in Metaphor. But I'm just loving this game and like the archetypes that are in the game that you can discover by creating friendships with people and like building that
Hmm.
friendships and then like leveling up the archetypes and then like you can change each person's archetype. Like there's a lot of depth to this game and the fact like it feels so smooth. Like it's a turn-based game,
yeah,
but it's like instant. Like it feels like it's live, like it's a action game. Like you could
yeah,
probably just sit there and make a decision like, what do I do here? But it's just like if you know what you're doing,
yeah.
you're just like click, 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 and it doesn't feel like you're like losing a beat in the game, and it's just like fast as fuck,
Yeah, a
fast as
part of
hell.
me that kind of like feels bad because the game, for one, is gorgeous. The story is amazing. Um, because it is turn based, I feel as though that it turned some people off from it. Kind of
Mm-hmm.
like when everybody was hearing about Baldur's Gate 3, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna give," and then they get it, they're like, "Oh, this is not what I was expecting." But they stood for the main course of the meal and they enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I feel as though if more people gave Metaphor, I feel like if they were bamboozled, like a lot of people were into Baldur's Gate 3, I think a lot of people would actually extremely enjoy Metaphor. But at the core, it is still a hardcore RPG,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think a lot of people are ready for that. I think that's why a lot of people like these new action adventures that incorporate RPG things into it.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, the game is gorgeous and it's amazing
And
story wise.
what's crazy about the combat too, like it's turn based, but before you actually get into the combat, it's like
Yes.
regular like hack and slash before the combat, and then like you can actually kill the enemy before even getting into the combat phase, and it's
Yep.
just like that's dope. And then it's like then you can trigger the squad battle, and then like then you're going in like full force, and I'm just like, this is insane. And I'm
Yep.
what has me hooked is the story because like when you're fighting these like big boss creature like enemies, they're
Mm-hmm.
humans. Like that's what they're called in the game. Like they're humans, and I'm like, I'm really lost. Like, how are they called humans? But like we're humans, aren't we? Like, but like in the whole like meta game, like you get brought out of the world, and then like you're in this like meta, like you're reading a book, and it's like very
Mm-hmm.
Inception like, and I'm like, what is really
Yeah,
going
dude,
on? It's
fucking
so crazy.
Atlas games are a riot, man. They
Yes,
are
they are.
so good.
Yeah, I'm so glad I picked this up and really excited to play it through it. I know it's going to take about 50 to 80 hours to beat, give or take. So I have a long way to go, given the fact that I'm only about like 6 hours ish into the game. So nonetheless,
6 hours. Oh, you pretty much just beat the demo right now.
yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
right?
Because I did play the demo and I stopped after a certain point. I was like, yeah, don't want to spoil nothing.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. You actually should have finished the demo because a certain weapon in there you actually could have kept for the main game, and the whole beginning of the game would have been a breeze.
No, damn,
Like you would have been walking through everything, yeah.
I feel
But
that.
again, 6 hours in, you're pretty much at demo pace right now. You got a lot to go, brother. It's
Yeah,
it's gonna be a blast though. Enjoy it.
yeah, it's fucking beautiful. Let's see. Any yeah, Roger, I want to talk about Wild Frost here on your list. It's a game that was recently added to Game Pass. It's been a game that I've been clicking in and out of. Like, do I play it? Do I not play it? Tell me about it. Is this a game that I do I download it and play it as another game later in the
Do
year?
you like do you like card-based card battlers,
Like MTG
those
Arena.
no, like what is now I can't even think of the freaking games.
It's like there's one that's
Slay
like
the
Clash.
Spire.
It's like Spire.
Slay the Spire.
The one that's on mobile is kind of like Clash of Clans, but like their card battler game too.
Yeah, so Slay the Spire is the quickest one that you can associate it with.
Yeah.
So this game is one of your roguelike card battlers where you build a deck and you try to survive till the end, and
hmm
when you die, you just move on and keep going.
hmm That makes
Okay.
sense. Well, I'm playing through Balatro, which is the same genre, just obviously different style of a game. And so
Mm.
I've been really enjoying Balatro, and I'm been hooked. I've been trying to watch YouTube videos on like how to like what's the best combo, Joker combos, and whatnot. Because like you get to a point where you're just like, what else can I do? Like I feel like I'm stuck.
That's the game that snuck into the Game Awards, right? Backstage, snuck right in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Somebody left the door open,
Yeah.
guys. You gotta not leave the fucking door open
Yeah,
next time, please.
Balatro is an insane game, and the fact it was made by
Yeah.
like one person or like three people or something like that, something
Yeah.
ridiculously
There's
small.
always those games that always shout out to the indie devs, man. I just reached out to a couple of them, trying to talk to a few. But shout out to indie devs. They're fucking killing everything else. Excuse my language.
Nah, that's allowed here on this show. But that's all the games I really wanted to talk about. Was there any other games you guys wanted to highlight before we talk about the news this week?
um, Caliber. Oh my god, it's an older game, but it's on
Okay.
PC. For those of you who missed that like old Ghost Recon SOCOM type stuff, Caliber's it. But it is a PC game through and through. It's going to hit you with the same thing that like Escape from Tarkov does. Hey, you want to do this? Here's a $200 pack. You buy this, and hey, you may never get anything in the future. But that is it's been holding me, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Other than that, no,
Have you guys been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals? I assume.
no. They don't let me transfer my account's PC, so I've been
Oh,
on
that's
strike.
right. I've been on strike. Why,
I've
Roger?
just been
I know you've
playing it
been
on
playing it.
PC.
Yeah.
It's good. It's very good.
I do miss
I
it.
am.
Like, what?
It's a very good game, honestly. I'm surprised at how well it performs.
All right, guys. So that's everything that we've been playing this week. Let's go ahead and talk about some industry news because we actually got some this week because the last two episodes did not have any. So let's go ahead and take a look.
Get it.
All right, guys, kicking off here. This one's really interesting. I was like a head scratcher. I dropped it into both Shoot to Win's Game Informer channel and like Lunacy Arts channel too. I was like, Tencent has been designated a Chinese military company by the United States. Tencent now has also looking to sue the United States for this designation. Not sure if you guys have any more knowledge on why or how or what how does this even happen? Go for
Mm,
it, because I'm at a complete loss on how any company gets
I mean,
designated this.
I don't know specifics, but what I do know is that if you lay in bed with certain people long enough, shit starts to stick. And Tencent has their hands in everybody's pocket. Now that doesn't mean necessarily that they are, military government stuff and everything, but you hang around a certain crowd.
Yeah.
it's, I, I don't know. It's rough.
They're a technology conglomerate, and they work like they work alongside of the Chinese government. So like there there's ways you could say that maybe this is tinfoil hat territory, but uh, how quickly can you go from, at the end of the day, how do you spread misinformation, disinformation, and how do you start, really controlling the minds of people? Well, that's through social media, that's through technology, that's through entertainment, video games, multimedia.
Mhm.
And what do they do? What are they controlling?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
and
So
I think it also
it's
kind of it feels like a gray area sometimes because I completely agree with you everything you're saying, but it's like a couple years back, Microsoft and Amazon were fighting for a contract to be the one that the U.S. military uses for their web services. So it's
Mhm.
like, then could you slap Microsoft or Amazon, whichever one won the contract? Can you slap them now with that same thing? And it's like it creates this. I mean, I guess on surface level, I guess you could say, oh well, yeah, obviously because they're working together. But like, I feel
But
like
it's where
over
the
the
next frontier of warfare is.
yeah,
That's the
exactly.
big thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, like once you
Cyber warfare
scratch the
is where it's at.
surface, yeah, yep.
Yeah, and just to put it into perspective,
'Cause-
there was another company that got tagged as well, and it was CATL. They're a battery maker in China, and then the previous other companies from China, Chinese phone manufacturer Xiaomi,
Huawei, Huawei,
Huawei.
or Xiaomi,
It's XIAOMI. They were added to
Xiaomi.
the list back in 2021 and then removed a few months later. So this
Yeah.
it's had happened before to bigger Chinese companies and then removed. And even Tencent has told Bloomberg that this designation is clearly a mistake. So we'll just see what comes of it. Maybe
Well,
they'll get this figured out
if
before going to
if I
court.
could add something,
Yeah.
what the bad that can come from this actually is that when they happened to, I believe it was Xiaomi, when they did that, their products also got banned as well.
Mm.
So like everyone was looking at Nokia to now bring in certain towers for 5G things and all this stuff like that. So does that mean now that anything that Tencent, mind you, Tencent has their hands in everything? Does all that get blocked now? So does Epic Games no longer can be sold here in the U.S. and stuff like that? What is it called? Remedy games as well. You can't play Alan Wake no more. I die. Oh, I got a collector's edition sitting here too for part two. But so like that shit, like none of it can go anymore. Like all their products or anything they have their hand in could possibly have to skedaddle because Xiaomi phones they weren't even allowed in America no more. So yeah, I don't know. It
And it
creates
and it's mind boggling, right, to put it in this perspective with phones is because a lot of us have these devices, right, called iPhones.
mhm,
Where are they manufactured at?
exactly.
China.
Yep.
Like they're designed here, yes, in California, we get that, but they're all made in China. So it's just like China could implement any of those, security breaking features into the phone and without Apple even noticing because they're being made over there. And there we are. And Apple takes up like a very large market, at least here in
Yeah.
the United States. So we'll just have definitely continue to follow this and see if Tencent does get removed from that. But that is all the industry news that we got for you guys this week. We're going to go ahead and move on to the gaming news. All right, kicking off here with some Xbox related news. There was an update to their rewards program. Don't really want to dive into this too quick, but they kind of like revamped it, added like weekly bonuses both for console and PC. New daily plays, weekly streaks. There's monthly packs, both 4 and 8. Tons of way to new earn these points that can transition to real like money. I know I do it. Like every time I rotate through like 9,000 points, you get $10 gift card to Xbox, and you can buy some cheap indie games or put it towards like a new big game that you wanted to buy. So definitely, I'm excited for this because it gives me more ways to earn points. Because there were very very few challenges to earn the points, but now there's tons of ways, new multipliers to work after. Just keeps you wanting to play on the Xbox platform, whether it's PC or on console. So really excited there. Big one here. The Developer Direct has been announced for this year on January 23rd. We're going to see Doom the Dark Ages, South of Midnight, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and much more. Um, they have a surprise game that they don't want to disclose to us. Apparently, it's a new game from a new developer. So we'll see what that is, and then we never know. We might get that fifth game that they always kind of just leave off the initial promos and shadow drop something. So that'll be really eager to see.
Yeah, if I could jump for 2 seconds, the dude from Windows Central, like the head writer, he actually put on Twitter,
Was
which
it
he's always
Jez?
getting all the. Yeah, just Gordon. There you
Jez
go.
Gordon?
That's
Yeah.
his name. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he said that this actually might be a lot bigger than just what Microsoft's letting on, with just revealing those three things.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not gonna lie, Expedition 33, like I'm extremely excited for
I'm
that
looking for that
game.
game. Yeah,
I'm
that shit
such
looks
a
good.
loser when it comes to that, man. I got 2 separate emails signed up for all the newsletters and everything. I was
Damn.
like, bro, I'm super hyped for it.
Yeah, and it's coming to Game Pass day one, so that's definitely
Yes,
exciting.
it is.
Like they're saying that like Microsoft's 2025 could be very, very monumental. But Roger, I know me and you talked about that before. It's like they have to hit. Like these games have to come out, not be buggy. They have to do everything right. Make sure they don't keep getting delayed and stuff like that. If everything hits, this could be a very monumental year. But yeah, both first party and third party, because Expedition 33 is a third party game. But nonetheless, the surprise game I was trying to talk to Lord Cognito on Twitter about, and I was like, what if it's Forza Horizon 6? Like it's been a while since we got a new Forza Horizon game. We obviously know they got Fable coming out, but there's two separate teams, and I was like, the rumored location would be Japan. I was like, what? It's not a. It couldn't be a better year to release a racing game set in Japan. We have Ghost of Yotai coming out. We have Assassin's Creed Shadows coming out. Imagine getting a racing game, and they're all set in Japan.
It
To
could
me, it
be
would work.
that. They also, I mean, the Gears of War collection has been being worked on for God knows however long,
Mm.
and they were apparently a lot far ahead than anybody thought. So it could be a new Forza, which we're overdue for. Or it could be that. Hey, listen, man, I ain't gonna lie. Make a scale bound. I just want to see the game come back.
They got to they have to acquire platinum games first before that
Damn,
all
hurry
happen.
up, god damn.
But Roger, any guesses on what the surprise game could be?
None. I just honestly, I'm excited for whatever it could be. I just hope we get something good.
Yeah,
Um, and how far off is it?
right. Well, usually with stuff that they showcase here, it's either now, like this year, or next year,
Hmm.
which is good. They usually try to keep stuff that's with releases within a
Hmm.
12-month window, unless it
Yeah,
gets delayed, obviously. But another one of the other rumors was they signed that deal with the new developer. I forget what the name of it, but they were the ex Rocksteady developers, the guys that made like the Batman Arkham trilogy. They went and
like
created their
Conan
own.
Dragon or something like that.
Yeah, like apparently they could be that game. So
Could be nice. Or we could probably actually get a goddamn release date for what the hell's that? The first person shooter coming out? Where she's the spy? Oh my
Dark
gosh.
Zero.
Yeah, is that what it
Is that
is?
Perfect Dark?
There we go.
Yeah, that one's
Shout out
actually
to
been pushed back because that one's been obviously having a lot of issues. They had to bring in Crystal
uh,
Dynamics to help them.
listen,
That's
man.
probably not coming out till 2026, 2027.
Maybe next Tomb Raider. I don't know. They
Yeah,
scooped the rights for GTA 6.
that would
Like,
be bonkers, honestly. But we do got to move on here. Let's talk about some of the Xbox services, Game Pass editions. I left a lot of the other stuff out because it's coming to Game Pass Standard. Like they're just over convoluting this. If it's not coming to Game Pass Ultimate, don't really care for it. Sorry, not sorry. But the original Diablo is coming to PC Game Pass on the 14th, so here in a couple of days. But you also get EA Sports, UFC 5 coming to cloud, and the series consoles on the 14th. We are losing quite a bit of games here on the 15th that I know I have
yeah,
played and enjoyed, but we're losing Common Hood, Escape Academy, Exo Primo, Figment, Insurgency Sandstorm, and Those Who Remain. I know we played a lot of Exo Primo when it first dropped. That was a lot of fun. I beat Figment.
yeah.
That was a quick 3-hour experience. Insurgency Sandstorm is a fun FPS game. The other ones I have not played at all, but I know I heard a lot of great things about. Sad to see, but definitely go check those out before they leave Game Pass. All right, let's
The
talk about Call of
beauty of
Duty.
the
What's that?
no, that's the beauty of Game Pass, man. Like you get these games, play them. If not, because every time they leave, they also put the if the game's not free, they put the game up on sale. So
Yeah, it's
scoop it
like
on
twenty
sale right now.
percent off or something.
Yeah, to look out.
So, last thing I wanted to talk about here was this new article that came out due to like some court filings. We kind of got to see kind of like a breakdown on like how big it or how much money it takes to develop some of these Call of Duty games, and to put it in perspective, Black Ops 3, which released in 2015, cost over $450 million in developmental costs. Modern Warfare
Makes
2019 took over $640 million in developmental costs, and Black Ops Cold War took about $700 million in developmental costs. And
Damn.
it's just bonkers on how expensive it is to make Call of Duty games, but it's nothing because they know they're going to make at least $1 billion, if not more. And then with all these microtransactions year after year, um, it's just insane, honestly. But it's awesome to see like the transparency of like these kind of numbers that we normally would not see or get. Roger,
Go,
Roger, any thoughts on how expensive it is for Call of Duty?
go, puppy.
Honestly, it's a guaranteed investment because they kind of corner the market where they're at. So like, who cares? You know, it's we knew their budget, but also look at the entertainment industry. Period. Their budget is insane.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Anything that gets done nowadays.
yep.
Yeah. But even like put in perspective, like a lot of like Sony games, like they've said that, oh, it's getting too expensive for us to make games, and it's costing them 300 million, 400 million at most. And it's just like that's like
But it isn't
half,
Call of Duty.
right? It's like half of what Call of Duty does.
And the
But
problem is, like, they're not making the same IP that has been around for longer than almost any other IP at this point, like
Yeah.
continuing IP.
right, a yearly release. You think about it, Call of Duty has had a yearly release for
Hmm
20 years, give or take.
Yeah.
But you
It's
have people who will play it even if it is hot garbage.
every year.
Yep.
The hottest
And
garbage could come off the line, and
it's
people are like, "Oh yeah."
I think it's actually funny now that I think about it because they were talking about when Halo Infinite they reached a budget of possibly around 500 mil, and everybody was like, "Holy hell, it should have never reached that." And I'm sitting here, I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't see where you reached it other than you screwed it up so much you had to go back
Start
and redo
over.
this."
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was pretty much like the team, the people who came in to help you is pretty much where all your money went or
Hmm.
outsourcing stuff, which is apparently what they did a lot of.
With a certain
That's
affinity, the co-developer that helped him a lot.
yeah, yep. So, for Call of Duty doing it, like I get it, but I don't get it because there's so much missing stuff when the games drop normally that
Hmm.
it's like, all right, a lot of your money kind of it feels like how new cell phones are coming out right now. Apple, they were like, "Hey, listen, our new iPhone and everything. The big new thing is the AI. The phone launched and there's no AI stuff
No
in it.
way.
It's like it feels it's the same thing with Ubisoft. Ubisoft releases a broken game and give it like 6 months. They'll fix it later on after the game's released. So it's
Hmm.
either like sink or swim at that point.
Yeah, they're
Um,
selling you on the promise of tomorrow, I think is what the saying would be.
yeah,
hmm
it's it's annoying, but it's Call of Duty, right? Just
Let's
wait
talk
for
about
next year.
yeah, let's talk about PlayStation this week. Good thing is it's not bad news, Roger.
Yeah, they have a new collection for peripherals. It is called the Midnight Collection. It is just sort of a new blackish, darkish blue collection.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it up here on screen. I gotta get it toggled over to the right one. Yeah, PSP. Yep. Oh, let's toggle it over here, guys. We could take a nice little glance at the basically the all black collection of all of their stuff. Looks pretty dope. I mean, you think about most of their consoles have been all black since the PS2, PS3, PS4 have all been all black, so it kind of makes sense. Obviously, we know the PS1 was the gray, and then
Hmm
PS5 is the white with the black.
Portal
So
actually looks like something I might even get now, just because it's blacked out. It actually looks like 2,000 times better. The headphones look amazing as well.
yeah, I'm sad. I was like, I just got that fucking headset, same headset, just the white one. I was like, man, it looks excellent. But the black controller's been out for a while. This is just the Pro
Yeah,
controller, the DualSense Edge, coming out in all
hmm
black, and then obviously the Portal, which is now available in three colors. It has the white, the black, and then the 30th anniversary. But yeah, that was pretty cool to highlight. PlayStation trying to keep up with, I would say, Xbox, because obviously we talk about Xbox like new controller here, new controller here, new controller here, and new headsets, and like they were all like they're all in, but they won't. They for some reason won't sell you a new special edition Xbox Series X at all. You can only get them from sweepstakes, and I'm like, I ain't gonna win that shit.
want that in
When what?
third one really
Nothing?
bad.
Yeah.
All right, so Roger, let's talk about a studio that kind of released a exclusive to PlayStation here.
Yeah. So Shift Up Studio, the developer behind Stellar Blade, has given all of their employees a PS5 Pro and a $3,400 bonus for the success of their studio,
Hey.
which is crazy.
Yeah, this is fucking awesome, dude. Especially with like seeing companies do layoffs and cutbacks and just they're doing what normal like Western or Eastern developers do.
Yeah.
Roger, we talk about it all the time. Like Japan, all of the Japanese developers, they always do this. Here's a
Well,
massive pay increase, but here in America, we're
yeah,
like layoff, 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 layoff. While the
Yeah.
we
CEOs get a 20.
succeeded, and here's your pink slip. Oh, wow, thanks.
And if I'm not mistaken, Shift Up is from Korea. If I'm not
Korea.
mistaken, yeah.
Yep.
So that's pretty awesome to see, honestly. And that
Fast
wasn't,
enough for that, man. People could
yeah,
really use it.
yeah, they definitely earned that there. So Roger, got you taking over Nintendo as Scott's not here, but let's talk about a little bit about
Sure.
Nintendo.
So, players reporting that their brand new games are having googly eye replacements in their cartridges. Like, I'm
Absolutely
a
amazing.
little just confused at it's just really shitty. So over the holidays, thousands of games were shipped out where the cartridges were stolen and they were replaced with a googly eye to make that sort of iconic noise that the case makes with the cartridge in it. Since it's not a perfect fit where it's held still, it kind of, yeah.
I don't know who came up with this idea of doing this, but they're fucking geniuses on doing it, even though it's wrong.
It's It's crazy to me that they were like, a googly eye makes the same noise as a loose cartridge. Easy.
That's
Easy.
You
called
ever
thinking
see you
outside
ever
the
see those
box.
shows where they got like a box and you gotta like stick your hand in and try to figure out what you're touching? Like
Yeah.
that person will be a champion of that shit. Like, how do you just
Mhm.
think of googly eyes like, hey, the same exact sound?
Man, this feels like a fucking googly eye. It feels like a fucking googly eye. Oh shit.
Yeah, that shit had me dying. I was like, "Are they for real?
Oh,
Like, there's no way that
Hmm.
this is real." And
Yeah.
sure enough, that it definitely was.
Yeah.
Eh,
No, that is a crazy criminal enterprise right there.
Yeah, and it's just like they're gonna have to figure out like where those games have been, like where were they
Hmm.
bought from, what warehouse were they stored in. Like they're gonna have to do a lot of investigating to figure that out and like figure out how many copies have been basically robbed.
yeah, because
Hmm.
I mean, there's been times where like shipments get mixed up. Like there was one year that like I think it was SmackDown versus Raw was 2010 or whatever. For some reason, the Spanish copies made it over here. Game was in English, but the box like the box in the back, it was all in Spanish. So like sometimes shipments get screwed up and everything, but
Hmm.
this is like somebody was chilling in the back of the box truck and was like, all right, let's get it popping with the googly eyes. Just to get this
Nice.
Yeah,
Slide, boop, boop, done. But
yeah,
then they relaminated them closed. Let's
which
be
is
honest
crazy, and
here.
they
So
fucking saran
That's the
wrapped them together.
sleazy part. Like, that's the sleazy part. You make sure you reseal them shits.
yeah, no,
There was a
Holy,
lot of
sad to
effort that
see.
went into that.
I hope they stub their toe every morning, bro. That's fucked. Man.
So Nintendo was also in the news for something also kind of silly. Not necessarily them, but
Well, part Nintendo, part Amazon. So Amazon is now canceling all pre-orders of Metroid Prime 4. And the speculation is that Metroid Prime 4 is going to be a Switch 2 new Switch exclusive. Just like we did with the new 3DS, they're deciding most likely that it's going to need the better hardware, and that's why it's been pushed back so much. So Amazon has been told we are no longer selling the game on the Switch, most likely.
yeah. Also, part of the problem was like all of the pre-orders that went up. It was for Metroid Prime 4. But when they were like, it's called Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. So they had to create a whole new SKU, and that's what basically triggered all of those. So if you pre-ordered it and it was just the Metroid Prime 4 version SKU, those are the ones that got canceled. But if you pre-ordered it and it had the Beyond title on it, you should be good.
Should be.
But that's so curious.
Let's
Like
hope.
they like that's something that you just type in the computer. Like, all right, update. Now it has Beyond in there. Like I'm not the wizard in it, but I'm sure it is. That's just as simple for the guys who do that kind of stuff. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and
That's
talk about
rough.
Marvel Rivals. Roger, with their most recent update.
Yeah, so Marvel Rivals announced the first season of the game, the first official season. So season 0 has ended, season 1 has begun. So now we get a lot of big changes. So let me see if I can bring up the entire patch notes for season 1. So we're gonna see nerfs to Doctor Strange, Hulk, Black Panther, Hawkeye, Hela, Psylocke, Luna Snow, and Mantis. All are getting a nerf in one way or another. Whereas Captain America, Thor, Venom, Black Widow, Magic, Moon Knight, Namor, the Punisher, Scarlet Witch, Storm, Cloak and Dagger, and Rocket will all see an improvement of some sort. We then see a mix of changes, just rebalancing on Winter Soldier, Wolverine, Jeff the Land Shark, and then we talk about Marvel Rivals season 1, like the big part of the patch, and that is the events. So we've got a new event coming in here, new ranked play starting. We've got new characters coming. So we've got the new group. So when we're releasing characters now, it seems that the plan is to look for a franchise, a singular IP in the Marvel universe, and give us those characters. So we've got multiple Fantastic Four characters coming out here, so that we can get team up bonuses. You've got very specific groups of people together.
Yeah, looks absolutely
It's,
badass if you ask me.
it's amazing, man.
And this is already out, right? Yeah, this came out 2 days ago. Has
Yes,
anybody got Roger? Did you get to play with the new Fantastic Four characters yet?
haven't touched the game since it relaunched. I'm kind of been doing other things lately.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so hopefully that's exciting. Obviously, it breathed a fucking ton of life back into the game. I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, it's been like a month since the game been out, give or take, and it has retained 90% of its players, and actually broke a lot of their concurrent Steam players. Like it
Hmm.
broke over like 600,000. Like I forget what the number was exactly, but
It's
concurrent on
record
Steam, it was
breaking.
it was record breaking it, making it one of the biggest games ever. It actually passed like Apex Legends highest player count at one time. So it's like really fucking impressive, and the fact that like the game just didn't die off like a lot of them do is great
Hmm.
because timing and content is going to be everything.
Yeah.
And Marvel
Yeah.
has a fucking plethora of content to bring to this game at any given
Each,
moment. If they feel like the game's dying, they go, there it is. Like they should just develop all of this content ahead of time, which I'm sure they do. And they go, oh, it's dying out. Here you go. You think it's dying out? Here you go. Like that's all they got to do. Like
Here's more. Here's more. Here's more.
it'll just
yeah,
constantly keep people coming back.
and I think the beauty of it is that like you can see that they want to actually keep giving fans what they want, but they're doing their best to try and keep everything balanced. Like you see it with like the Cloak and Dagger. You can see that they could be an amazing like play, but certain things need to get buffed for them to actually be viable when you're playing as Dagger. So they go ahead and do that and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they're doing a great job, especially with like the characters just all being available at the beginning. Just like go try them all out, have a blast, kick ass, and have fun. Like they're doing great.
Most of the characters also don't feel bad. Like you could almost play any one of the characters in the game and not feel bad. Now there are some issues here or there where people are a little disappointed in the quality of play of some characters, but
Yes.
honestly the game is really well put together.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, that kind of like leads to some benefits to the game too. Is like those characters that are a little bit of like a lull right now. In the future, they're like buff. Now this is the main character that everybody's going to want to play, and it just
Hmm.
Yeah.
it changes the whole
Like
meta.
I don't like. I've only seen maybe one person ever use Namor, and then last night I was on Twitch and legendary Call of Duty player and now legendary Halo player and stuff like that. Formal. This dude is literally playing as Namor and he's not missing one shot. And I'm like, all right, so maybe Namor is just like dog water for about like 95% of people, but on the one person in which they just don't know how to miss shots, it is very, very dangerous because his thing could go through most people's shields that they put up. So yeah, that he's a problem.
Yeah, dope. But we can sit here and talk about Marvel Rivals all night long. But let's talk about the meat of the episode because there was a lot of fucking new technology that was revealed and
Oh yeah.
showcased to the world at CES 2025. Xbox is bringing cloud gaming to the LG smart TVs in the future, so that's awesome. There, just adding to the whole campaign of like this is an Xbox, this is an Xbox. So that's dope. One interesting one here was the Hyperkin Xbox controller. So if anybody is a huge fan of the new PlayStation DualSense controller, basically going to have an Xbox version. I'm gonna get it pulled up here on screen. Looks pretty much identical. Like the buttons are the same. The triggers are the joysticks are even lined up like a PlayStation controller. Just missing the little touchpad that the PlayStation rocks out with, but it has buttons on the back. I'm sure the triggers are adaptive, just like the PlayStation. This is basically just a knockoff PlayStation controller for your Xbox.
I ain't gonna lie, that control's so goddamn ugly.
It is ugly. I hate the color scheme of it.
Yeah, it looks like they try to like do like, hey, we like the way the Spawn's mask look. Let's try and put that into a control. Like, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't look good.
Yeah. So anybody looking for a handheld game, this one's pretty interesting. Acer is getting into the market here with their new one. It's actually one of the
Yeah.
biggest ones. They're labeling as the enormous 11-inch gaming handheld called the Nitro Blaze 11. Has a giant 10.95-inch screen. And that's pretty dope,
Jeez.
man. That shit's fucking massive. They were compared it to like the Steam Deck, and that shit dwarfs like the Steam Deck, honestly. Um,
Jesus Christ, it's
yeah, like
huge.
look at the image of this person hand like holding it. Like it's fucking huge.
How small are his hands? Because they
Right.
don't look like Trump's hands to me, boys.
Yeah, so that's pretty dope there. I mean,
It's
like
just
handheld is definitely
unnecessarily big, man. Like it reminds me of like I think it was Energizer when they made a smartphone and it was like this thick. Like it
has
doesn't
all the
need to.
battery in the world.
Yeah, like it's just unnecessary.
Yeah, so I mean, handheld market is just booming right now, and obviously we're gonna talk about a little bit more. And obviously, I put a post up for the podcast, like determining like out of the three big pillars, you have Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, all getting into the handheld market relatively soon with the Switch to Xbox handheld and whatever the next PSP is going to be. Like, which one do you grab? And it's just like on top of all these other ones from the third party manufacturers. But nonetheless, new GPUs are around the corner. AMD announced their new RDNA 4 GPUs, so that's awesome to see there, along with the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 50 series cards, which are I don't really know much about the AMD ones, but following the NVIDIA ones, since I'm more of a fan of theirs, seems really fucking impressive because they're even touting that the 5070 card is just as powerful as the 4090 card is, um, with some
That's
trade
typically
offs.
the way it works, though.
But a lot of people were like really questioning it too, um,
Hmm.
because especially because it's coming in at like a 549 price tag, and if you're matching the 4090 card that was like probably closer to 2 grand at launch, it's
Hmm.
kind of weird in a way. But nonetheless, those are right around the corner there. And what else do we got here on the list? Nvidia is also bringing their GeForce Now app to the Steam Deck, so that's basically
Yep.
like their version of Game Pass coming to the Steam Deck. So that's pretty
And you
dope to
can
see
now
there.
download games locally too, so that's
Yeah, that's
it's
gonna
a
come in
plus for those
clutch.
people.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
can't forget that Xbox has that partnership with Nvidia too, where it brings basically all their first
Yeah.
party games to Nvidia's GeForce Now subscription as well. Moving on to competitor of Xbox, and that's Sony announcing new movies and TV shows. Ghost of Tsushima is getting a anime coming exclusively to Crunchyroll in 2027, and this follows their Legends co-op mode, specifically part of the game. So I never played that part yet, but I know it's like a less realistic version of the world. Like it's very
Yeah.
mythological and whatnot. So they can definitely do a lot with it. I'm definitely be curious to see how that plays out for sure. On top of that, we got an announcement for the Helldivers and also a movie for the Horizon series. And I was like, that's dope. Like two of the games that I'm a huge fan of from the PlayStation catalog. Love the Horizon series. I love the post-apocalyptic world with the robotic dinosaurs, and obviously Helldivers too. Like it's just how they take the spin on Helldivers too. Like, is it going to be like more comedic? Because a lot of people are like, we already have a movie. It's called Starship Troopers. I get that, but there's a lot more to the Helldivers world with like the different factions and stuff, like the robots, the autonomons or autonomous or whatever they are, and then like that new one that was introduced. They're kind of like zombie like. So like
Yeah.
they could do a lot.
I, I'm gonna be honest with the Horizon thing. I don't know if the movie's the right way to go. I think a
Hmm.
TV show would be a lot better, especially once you start getting deeper into the lore.
Yeah.
Like if you look at shows like the 100 and stuff like that,
Mhm.
if you try to do that into a movie, it would have never worked. There's too much in the world and too many groups that you have to explain and stuff like that. I think a TV show would be better for Horizon.
Makes sense. Talking about a show from them is Last of Us season 2 got its official release date. It
Yep.
will be coming out on in April of 2025. Specific date here. I don't know if we got this specific date. Did we? I think it's just coming out as of right now, April of 2025. So I've never seen the first one. I kind of been kind of holding off watching it because I've never played the games yet, so I don't want to spoil the game by watching the show. I know they add a little bit of extra content in the show, whatnot, but wait until I play the game, then I'll watch the show and catch back up on that. So PlayStation has definitely a lot going on for them in their media realm. So that's pretty dope to see there. But one interesting that they debuted was this new tech where players can see, shoot, and smell the bad guys. And I was just like, this is very, very interesting. Like, this is some 4D VR type of shit. Like, you're going to be in like this VR room. A lot of people are like, what application does this really have? Because it's going to be too expensive for the average consumer at home. Not going to have that, most likely. If you do it at like at a at a
An
venue,
arcade.
arcade or something like that, it's like that's going to get really pricey because like what if someone
Mm.
hits the fucking screen and blows out a pixel or something like that? It ruins the complete immersion of it. So it's like going to be very expensive to maintain and keep. So it's like, what are we really trying to do with this?
I mean,
Hmm.
it reminds me of when Samsung they tried to copyright a thing in which they'll be able to your phone could detect certain smells, and everybody's like, "Why the fuck?" And years before that, Samsung was like, "Hey, yeah, we want to see if you can actually be able to feel certain things by us shooting like electric pulses to your ears, and maybe you can actually." And I was, no, like we don't
No.
want this. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But last but not least, not least here.
Last but not
Not less
least.
than, yeah, there we go. Lenovo has revealed their Legion Go 2 and the Legion Go S consoles. So I'm gonna get those up here on screen. Looks pretty sleek, honestly. A nice clean look.
the Lenovo man,
Yeah,
killing it.
yeah, they're definitely been killing it. The white one is the S, so the controllers are not detachable at all on the sides versus the Go. You can take them off like the Switch. So that's pretty cool there. But yeah, man, the handheld market is just growing and growing and
Was
growing.
the S the one that's running SteamOS?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a SteamOS version. I forgot to include that part there. Yeah. I think they both offer it. I think there's just models that you can buy. So,
Okay.
so a lot of them are just becoming open. Like it would basically choose
Yeah.
which software you would that you want to run, which is pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, I don't know if if Steam Deck 2 is going to be coming out anytime soon. So if you were trying to hold out on that, waiting to get something more stronger, powerful, this is what's it called? The Zen 2 Extreme, I think that's what's using now. It's pretty freaking dope.
Hmm.
So you could probably just rock out with Lenovo for right now.
Yeah, definitely dope. But that is everything that we got this week in our gaming news. You guys have any last comments before we close out this week's episode?
Not really, no.
Yeah, it was a pretty quiet week other than CES. There was a lot of odds and ends and whatnot, but pretty dope. But we do want to thank everyone who came through and checked us out live here on Twitch, and anyone does check us out later on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. But where can the community find you at, Roger?
Hey, I'm gonna be the same place I always am, right here on the show, or you'll find me on Discord.
And what about you, Inhuman?
Now you can find me on all your various social media platforms at InHumanLine. That's INHUMANLINE. Oh my god, I almost forgot how to spell that. Holy
And
shit.
of course, you can check me out on Twitter at Mr. Never Chillin _ Threads is Mr. Never Chillin. Xbox is X Never Space Chillin. PlayStation is VBrew24. Facebook is Vic Brewrocker. For any questions, concerns, or if you want to come on the show, hit me up there. And I do stream on my Twitch at twitch.tv/ Mr. Never Chillin. It's been kind of quiet, still just trying to decide if I want to stream, what I'm going to stream, stuff like that. But nonetheless, be sure to follow me on there for any future streams. We do want to thank everyone again. And until next week, peace.
Press start podcast.